Last week's uh, slokas, we saw that Krishna mentioned people who are not following the matha, the philosophy, the opinion that I have created, Arjuna. They are inviting their own disaster or ruin. They are not going to see peacefulness or happiness anywhere unless that person follows the principles of karma yoga, which is created by me, is what he explicitly mentioned in the last verse. So karma yoga is a way of living. It is beyond religion. He didn't say that you'll have to be a Hindu or any specific religious path to observe the karma yoga. All the descriptions, the definitions of the karma yoga that he has outlined so far, he never mentioned anything about religion, practices, rituals, or any such thing. And you would have also observed that all he had mentioned is perform your job, your duty, whatever that you are doing as a parent, as a spouse, as an employee, as a brother, as a sister, as a person, a member of the society, anything that you are doing, make sure that you do it with a sense of detachment, without expecting anything in return, and anything that is performed by this body, by this mind, by this intellect, make sure that you apply yourself fully into that without expecting anything in return, and do that job 100% well, offering that as a sacrifice to whom? To the universe, to the super soul. It doesn't have to be God. If you think as a God, then it is God, but it can be something to this universe. This universe is running with some spiritual energy that drives everything. That spiritual energy is God. And that if that spiritual energy takes the form of human, then we say that it is Rama or Krishna or any such thing. If a person is able to mature himself or herself to the level where they are able to perform everyday actions, every moment, including breathing, with that thought in mind that I am not doing anything, I am just an instrument who is being activated by that super spiritual energy, then that person is perfecting in the karma yoga, in the art of karma yoga. If that person knows the nature of this body, how this body is built, how this body is made up of prakriti, which is the modes of nature, then that person is intelligent. That person is that person is smart if he knows the difference between his Atman and distance himself from this body. This body is it operates at its own in its own ways. And if that person who is sitting inside this body knows the nature of this body and then performs the actions, then that person is maturing in the karma yoga. Then he will see, he will meet with bliss, paramapnoti. Everyone else who mocks, who laughs, who insults the karma yoga that is proposed by me, Arjuna, then those people do not understand anything in life. They will not, they have an illusion that they understood, but they will go to their own ruins sooner than later. And they will be revisiting this world, birth after birth after birth after birth. That is a declaration, a strong statement that Krishna is delivering to those people who just dismiss or who just reject his ideas, his opinions, his philosophy, which is Bhagavad Gita. He says that this is the way of life. I am not saying that to any individual that only Vaishnavites should follow, others should not follow. This is what every human should live. The goal of every human is to practice living by the Karma Yoga. No matter at what stage of life he or she is in, no matter who he is, whether he is a parent or a guardian or a son or a daughter or a mother or a father or an employee or a social worker or an army man or an army woman, anyone you are, practice the Karma Yoga is what he told until the last verse. Now let's see what he says in the current verse, next verse, which is going to be verse number 33. Let me share my screen. Okay. Sadrisham cheshtate swasyaha prakritirjnanabhanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati is the shloka. 33rd shloka, 3rd chapter. Sadrisam cheshtate swasyaha prakrite jnanavanapi. Jnanavan. Jnana is intelligence. Jnanavan is one who is intelligent. Even the wise, the most intelligent. Swasyaha cheshtate. They act as per their nature. Based on their nature, they act. What to tell about people who try to restrain ignorant people? In other words, people who do not have that much of wisdom in terms of Atma and body and soul, and then who don't know how to restrain their senses, and what to say about them who are trying to restrain, when even the most intelligent people, when he says the most intelligent and wise people, he didn't mean about the intellect, he didn't mean about the PhDs from Harvard University or the MBAs from Harvard University. No, the intelligence here is nothing to do with the material world. Intelligence is the spiritual intelligence, where a person is able to clearly appreciate the difference between body and Atman. I am not this body. That is the intelligence. I am only sitting inside this body. I am a prisoner inside this body. That thought and also the experience, one has it, then that is called intelligence. Everything else is not intelligence, just it is still intelligence as far as this world is concerned. But in this shloka, when Krishna refers to Jnanavan, he didn't talk about the worldly Jnanavans, but spiritually intelligent people. So what does he mean by spiritual? So what he says is, everyone is, even including the intelligent people, is driven by the nature of this body. This body is Prakriti. is made up of material nature. Material nature includes 5 elements. We have already seen that one, right? That is what this body is made out of. This flesh, skin, bone, blood, pus, saliva, air, wind, tissues, anything that you take inside this body, it is all made up of, it's decomposable. They're all made up of material nature. Whatever that you see outside, from earth, from water, from air, fire, all these are ingredients. These are ingredients that make up this body. And so naturally, the person who is sitting inside this body has very minimal uh, control over what this body can do. The body, when it is uncontrolled by the mind, by the intellect, will go behind its nature, living its nature. And that is the reason that we are attracted by few things, we go behind it, and then we later on we realize, why did we do that? Or we hate few things and then we just not doing it and then realize that I should have done it earlier, right? All those things are material nature. Like for example, if you consider a dog by nature is, we know the nature of the dog, it is so loyal to its human. That is the nature of dog. No matter what, how much ever you try, you cannot alter that, because that is the very nature of dog. Likewise, an ant, if you look at it, an ant prepares itself for the winter, carrying food, and then they go one behind the other, passing on the food and cooperatively working to build their food for winter. Crow, for example. Crow, by nature, when it has some food, it never eats alone. It cries out, calls out all its friends and relatives, and then eats together. That is crow's nature. Human beings will never get it. We will just see a treasure, we just want to enjoy it. We will just hide it. We don't even want to show to others. What if others also ask for a share in it? That is the nature of humans. That is how we have been trained. The only difference here is, with all the animals, their nature, they do not know that they can modify their nature. But with humans, we can modify, and we know that we can modify. These are actually two different things. One is to know that yes, I can modify, right? And other thing is acting on it also. Once we are aware of it, work on it and do the actual modification. These two things are unique to humans, but dogs and ants, they live by their nature. So in a way, nature exhibits its behavior in that way, where otherwise the whole world will be unpredictable. Right now we say that okay, dog, then it means it will behave this way. That is why we call it as a dog. It has to bark and it has to behave in some way. And if it is an ant, it has to behave in a specific way. Likewise, a cow. Cow is called the word vatsalam, dearest, right? Vatsalam means affectionate, dearest. That is derived from the relationship that a cow has with its calf. Cow cannot let go of its calf that easily. Even if moment it doesn't see its calf, it will be worried. That is the nature of a cow, right? So that is how we are all made up of. Nature, with its elements, with its gunas, we call it as sattva guna, tamo guna and rajo guna. All these Three gunas are the properties of nature. And these three properties make up this body. And this body exhibits that nature every once in a while. It is quite obvious because that is what it is, right? This body, we think that that is what we are. We are not that. We are not this body. So those gunas, those properties are not us. And but we think that okay, right now I'm feeling sleepy, right now I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling mad, I'm feeling upset. But those angry, upset, heavy, dullness, anxious, all those things are the gunas of this body, and they can at any given point of time, if that person decides, can alter it. But still there are some, to some extent, that nature will remain. That is why Krishna in this shloka states that even the most wise people act as per their nature. What to say of, what can I say about people who are not that wise and still trying to restrain this behavior of this body? That is the question of this shloka. No one can escape the nature of this body. And so, uh, ultimately, now what is the answer? Is there anything that we can do about this? Or we all are supposed to be living the way that other animals are living? Right? That is what the answer that he will be giving in the next few shlokas. Let's see what it is. "34, verse number 34. Let's see now. One second. Okay. 34. इन्द्रियस्येन्द्रियस्यार्थे रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ तयोर्नवशमागच्छेत् तौ ह्यस्य परिपन्तिनौ. इन्द्रियस्येन्द्रियस्यार्थे रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ. So one question that we all had was, if you had asked that questions, asked when you are actually living, these are the questions that we'll have to ask to improve ourselves on an everyday basis. We cannot accept everything that is happening around us or everything happening within us. If there are some situations that trigger some emotions within us, we cannot just accept and say that okay, that is what me now, right now I am upset. So that means that we are in a victim state. We are accepting our nature to be victims. Later on, after some time, we become all right. We never understood what made us down in the first place. Let's say we were down for some reason. We had some uh, misunderstanding either at work or at home or anywhere, and we were trying to figure out what went wrong. Maybe your boss yelled at you, or you yelled at your spouse, or any such thing that has happened at home. And because of that, you are feeling sad, depressed, anxious, worried that you hurt, or in one way or the other, right? So what we will, most of the times we will do is, once that happens, an incident or a situation happens at home or at house or at work, we will just become a victim of the situation. Oh, I have been yelled at, or I was being screamed at, or other way around also. I screamed at others. Oh, how sad it is, right? So we just occupy that victim mindset and sit on it. than asking. After some time we will be all right. Either we are a victim or we did something wrong. After a few minutes or hours, based on the intensity and your nature, you will become all right. If people are too much um, zooming in to the situation, then they will be living in that situation again and again for a longer period of time. They won't be able to get out of the situation. But if there are few people, there are people who just will feel upset, but for few moments, few minutes, and after that they are okay, they are all right. So that resiliency, how fast we can get out of a situation, how fast our mind can adapt itself and then say that it's okay, it has happened, what is next, what can I do next, that is called resiliency of the mind, right? And during that moment, if you have seen, but eventually we will all be resilient, because after a day or 2 days or 1 week we will be all right, we will start living our normal life. Whenever it happens, we never used to ask the questions. The question that we should ask is, what made me first place to go down, upset, or worried about it? What made me? Maybe the situation, we are saying that that situation made me go down. But then if that situation did make me go down, right now I'm all right. Right now I seem to be okay. That situation still is there. It didn't get modified. That situation was there. If someone yelled at us, that yelling at us was true. It is still true. That person still lives and that person still is angry at us, or we are mad at that person. Both are true. But right now I'm feeling all right, I'm okay, I'm not that mad as how I was before, I'm not that sad and depressed as how I was when I was going through that experience. So we never used to ask the questions. That is what we should precisely ask. If we reflect upon it, then we will ask why, what made me go down and what made me became okay. Then we will ask these questions, a few other questions. What are uh, when we live our life, there are a few things that make us like some things, right? In our life, if you have observed, our life is full of, if you see this, just two things: likes and dislikes. That's why probably in all the social media apps they say like, don't like, right? These are two things that is there, universal: likes and hates. Our life is pretty much determined by this. Whenever we do something, we like it. Whenever we are part of few things, that we hate it. So what happens during that moment when we like it? What is it that happens when we say, I like this? If you ask the question, then you will know that our indriyas are experiencing pleasure. So if our indriyas, our eyes or ears or tongue or skin experience pleasures, then we say that I like it. That is what like, the definition of liking is that. If you see, you cannot otherwise you cannot actually say that you like it. There are a little bit above that, but let's not go there. Something like, you use your brain, or I like to sit and meditate, I like it. That is different. Where that is, I'm not speaking about that. Normally, when we are living in this world, do not like, look at do not likes. I hate it. People will say from the bottom of pit of their stomach, I hate it, right? What makes them say that? Even we used to say that few things I don't even like it. What makes us say those questions, utter those words? If you ask it, our indriyas didn't like it. Either I'm uncomfortable looking at it with my eyes, or I'm uncomfortable hearing those words that makes me really, or I have eaten few things that is so bitter. I hate that food Oh, I don't even want that. Don't even give it to me. I hate it. Right? So, pretty much, if you look at it, five indriyas determine our likes and dislikes, and our likes and dislikes determine our life. How strange and how simple, and we took it for granted. And none of these five indriyas are us. If you look at it, these five indriyas are totally five bandits. You can think of it. They steal us away from ourselves, right? So they will have to be bandits. They are big time bandits. At least bandits or robbers. They will steal away the valuables that we can always earn. But these bandits take our original identity from us, and they define how the world around us should be. They say that you should like this because I experience happiness, pleasure. You should not like it because I do not experience pleasure and happiness. So, depending on whether these five senses experience pain or pleasure, our likes and dislikes are decided. Right? That is why, but that which is right or not, I'm just leaving it to you to just think about it. 100%, if you just leave it to them, then they will decide our life and they will run our life. If every situation that we live, every experience that we have, if anything we like, if we ask our intellect, most of things are happening without our knowledge. That is why we are just running through based on whatever our indriyas say, we just go on. Once we stuck with the problem, then our intellect we are starting to use. How did this all happen? I don't even know. I was just here in this situation. Oh, now I realize, oh yeah. So that is because our intellect was not even part of the life that we are living, and our indriyas dragged us towards whatever that we are behind. That is how we are seeing so many people running behind wealth, accumulating more than what is needed, and behind uh, power, position, authority, all those things. That is because my indriyas experience, because when people talk high about me, I really enjoy it. People say that you are the vice president of this organization, or this you are the president of this unit, then that is very good. I wanted to hear more and more about it, my levels, right? So that is what motivates my just decision. Now, once we discuss with our mind, our intellect, not with our mind, and say that, okay, this liking, whatever that I'm liking, is this really okay? Do I want to have this? Consciously, if we decide, so that consciousness is important. Consciously, if we accept that, then it is perfectly okay. Yeah, I wanted to do it because of this reason. We have a very valid reason, not because just a biased reason. Like for example, I want to eat gulab jamun, and my mouth is just mouth watering. I just want to crave and eat it. Again, my indriya is driving me towards that gulab jamun. Now, I cannot reason and say that, justify saying that last 1 month I never have gone behind it. That is my reason. So now it is okay to eat it. If I say that, that is not a logical reason. And I can always argue that my brain gave me that. No, but still that is not a logical reason. Right? So that, if we are giving just a lame excuse versus a logical analysis of it. Like for example, if there is a person who is a birthday party, and we are there and we have decided not to have it, we have seen it, gulab jamun is there, and I just resist myself, stayed myself, I'm happy not having it, let's say. But if that birthday boy or girl walks up to me and says that you should eat it, this is my birthday, I want you to have one piece of gulab jamun. At that time, perfectly, it's meaningful saying that I want to make you happy. You are the birthday boy, and I wanted him to be happy today. So I'm eating one piece. That is reasonable. Not because I have discovered a reason for myself to eat, right? Every situation, if I can identify a reason, probably suitable reason, and then live through that, then my likes and dislikes will be entirely different, isn't it? Just think about it. Whatever in this world we have likes, just write it down and see that these are the things I like. Maybe some 50 items in this world, and then these are things I hate. Write it down openly. Now inspect one at a time and say that, is it because I truly have analyzed it very well, its pros and its cons, and decided that I hate it and I like it, or it is just automatically my system picked up some defaults. If you go to these websites, they ask you to choose some default that you like so that they will send some messages based on your interests. Like if you don't choose anything, they will auto select and they will just choose some sports, politics, music, and then they will start sending you messages based on that. Unless you choose explicitly, I'm not interested in sports, I'm not interested in politics, I'm interested in only music, then they will send only that music related stuff, right? That is how our system also is operating. Since this person explicitly didn't choose, he or she didn't use their mind, intellect to analyze and pick their interests. So let me auto default. Whatever I see, whatever I experience, let me choose it and then let me go with that. That is the meaning of this shloka that Krishna is now saying here, which states that indriyasyarthe ragadveshau vyavasthitau. Ragadvesham, likes and dislikes. Ragam means like, dvesham means dislike. Facebook, you should remember. Likes and dislikes are situated. He is now saying your likes and your dislikes are situated in the indriyas, going behind the objects of pleasure. Wherever that goes, your likes and dislikes are decided. And he says the next line, Tayor navashamagachet. Do not get yourself under their control. Vasham, the control. Agachet, do not go under their control. Na vasham agachet, do not go under their control. Tau hyasya paripantinau, and these indriyas, when he says these indriyas, they will take you to ruins. They will just destroy you. So do not even be waylaid. They will waylay you. You will be waylaid by those indriyas if you just follow there and then decide your likes and dislikes. And that is a nature. Again, he says that it is their nature to drag. For example, the nature of the eye is to go behind attractions. If it is totally dark, imagine this, the whole world is totally dark. Okay? Imagine that for a moment. Nothing that you can see. Totally dark. Then eyes have no job to play. And then all of a sudden, at the corner of the world, as little light emerges. Switched on, let's say. Then automatically eyes will go behind that light because that is the only thing that is interesting. Rest of the places are totally dark. So naturally, eyes will go behind that. Now, no one speaks, no one sings, there is no music, there is no noise in this world. Obviously, it's only darkness. When this whole universe was created, that's how this whole universe would have been, right? Nobody would have spoken any word. There was no noise. So ears had no job to do. Eyes probably had something. In the night, they don't have anything. And then you will start looking at it. Now, if a person remotely, not even person, a dog, uh, 10 miles away, it barks. Ears will pay attention to that, even though it is so far away, because our ears are so attentive, it is so calm, we will be so attentive. And then we will listen. That is the nature of these ears. Now we should understand more about our own powers we have been given already. The power of eyes, the power of ears, we took it for granted. We live as if we own this body and we are entitled to this body. Not necessarily. We could have been born deaf. We could have been born blind. We could have been born handicapped. Powers have been given to us. And are we using those powers? Are we even aware of such powers and appreciating it on a daily basis? That is when more powers will be given to us. If we are making use of our already given powers, then nature will offer unlimited powers to us. That is how the yogis in those days have acquired more powers, because they were able to utilize their powers already given to them through their eyes, through their ears, and they didn't abuse those powers, because with the eyes we are now abusing it. We watch many things that are not even educating, or we wanted to just please our eyes, and so we watch many things all the time. And we wanted to please our ears, we wanted to hear what is good to our ears, and we right. So but that is abusing. Now if we are not abusing, then you are paying attention to that indriyas, the actions of the indriyas. Now when we pay attention to the actions of the indriyas, we know where they attach to, right? Where they attach to. My eyes, my attractions of my eyes are not the same as your attractions to your eyes. If you look at it, a few things, when I look at it, I like it, but few things you might like it, I may not like it also. So one has to do their own discovery. That is why doctors and all will not be helpful here. In that they are all experts in just saying that it is an eye and whether it can have vision or not, but they don't know what eyes can see, what you can see, and what your likes are, because that is automatically decided by you. But we will have to take charge of our indriyas and then see that, oh, this I am liking it, but is it worth liking it? We'll have to inspect, introspect, ask ourselves, and then if it is not worth liking it, strike it off. No one else is going to interfere and ask you to do such kind of job but yourself, because you are the one who has to do it, because you are the ones who know the likes and the dislikes and where your eyes are going most of the time. And so, but we all wanted to be productive. That is the term that we these days we use, right? Productive means in a day you have, let's say, 16 hours, right? 8 hours, let's say, sleep. 16 hours. How efficient we are in those 16 hours in terms of managing our job, our house, our work-life balance, entertainment, enjoyment, everything. How effective we are. If we wanted to optimize that, if we wanted to be more efficient, I spent my life fully, last day of life, someone gives the mic to us and asks us, have you enjoyed your life? Have you lived your life to the fullest extent? Our answer should be, yes, of course, I enjoyed everything. But will we say right now? If not, then we will have to make it more efficient. How do we make it more efficient? By asking ourselves, this experience in this life is basically the Indriya's experience, right? Am I doing the right things knowingly, or my Indriyas are choosing and going enjoying? Then I will end up with ruin, definitely, because they are doing their own job. They don't know what is right or wrong. Right or wrong is known only by the intellect, eyes and skin and other indriyas, they do not know about what is right or what is wrong. Dharma, that dharma part, only intellect knows. That is why we have to use the intellect to control the indriyas. If not, if they take control of us, then that is what Krishna here says, that you will be waylaid. Waylaid is they will just pick you up halfway through, they will just discard, abandon on the highway, and they will go away. Indriyas will still be there. They will say, we don't know anything. You are responsible for your own life. Now you will have to take care of it. Right? I will be there. I will do whatever that you wanted me to do, but I don't know. That is how Indriyas will wash their hands and go away. So our responsibility is to make sure that to make a list and to make sure that we prune down that list and reason out, ask ourselves whether this like or dislike is consciously my decision or subconsciously the mind made a decision of itself. Then we can make our life more meaningful and experiential. That is what he says in this verse. Now let's move on to the next verse, where he talks about 35. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushthitat swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha. So, paradharmat swanushthitat. He says that whatever duty that is given to you, whatever that you are supposed to do, is much better doing that than looking at others and saying that if only I am asked to do that job, probably I'll do it better. My mom always used to say this, a joke that she used to say, that she was living in a house and the neighbor used to always say that the neighbor never used to take care of his mother well. He used to yell at her and he hardly used to give respect to her and all those ill treatments. But every once in a while he will say that if only I had my dad, I will take care of him very well. So his mother is, while his mother is living there and he is not interested in making sure that she lives a happy life, but instead he says that if my dad had been alive, I will make sure that he lived a good life. That is almost similar to this shloka that Krishna says here, that whatever that is given to you, Arjuna, as a duty, do that very well. Even if that means that you are going to die by doing your duty, it is still much better than borrowing a duty from others. Whatever that others doing, do not look at them and say that that is much better, so I will do that. Now Arjuna is trying to say here that if jnana yoga is so good, then why let me do just jnana yoga, let me go into the forest and let me live a life of renunciation. I will just let go of everything. I will not hold any arms, but I will live like a yogi. So that's what Krishna here precisely says, that you cannot do that. That is only for yogis. Now you are a born Kshatriya. Your nature, it is there in your body. Your body naturally can protect others. Not only you, but also others. And you will have to do your duty. You cannot do the duty of a yogi and still say that I will do it much better and that is much, much better than what I am doing right now. Even if you end up with death, Arjuna, even if you end up with death, that is still much better. Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha. even if you end up with death while doing your duty, that is still much better. So the lesson that we all have to take from this is this. um, Five indriyas in the earlier verse, he mentioned that they go as per their nature. But what about the jealousy, envy? While looking at others, we will burn. Right? Where is that happening? Looking at or hearing at, whatever that is, right? But that has nothing to do with indriyas itself. Unpleased. I mean, we are experiencing unpleasantness. We're not able to see through our eyes and not hear through our ears due to envy. What do we do with that? Can I also become like that person, this person? How I wish that I'm also as good as that person. Most of the times we used to think about it, right? This shloka can also be used to relate to that. It's better to be who you are born with and do your duty, walking your life, looking at your own responsibilities, making sure that you do that, all those responsibilities, than looking at others' life and saying that I wish that I had that life. That is not suitable for you. And when you cannot aspire for that, that is not right, is what he is saying. And you cannot aspire in the sense you cannot become that, or you cannot adapt to that others' way of living. Their nature is different, your nature is different. Flower, right? We have seen many lotus or jasmine or lily, or every flower has their own nature, right? And fruit, a fruit has got its own nature. Jackfruit is the most hardest, we cannot, but when you eat it, it is so delicious, but it is not that easy to pick that fruit from within inside. It has a hard shell outside, but when you are able to do it, then it is good, right? So but other fruits like mango, it has very thin skin. That is its nature. So one fruit, but you are just one nature. You cannot desire to be another. A jackfruit is a jackfruit is a jackfruit. That is how the earth is created. That is how the entire creation has been made, right? You cannot want to uh, follow others' duties and then do what others are doing, but instead you can do your duty, whatever that is at your disposal. Like for example, now right now, if someone aspires to be president of the United States, just giving an example, or any such thing, it's nothing to say that Krishna is not trying to say that you cannot have any ambition. Okay, so this verse doesn't say that once you are born as a to do a duty, then you will just end up doing all the duty all the time. That you'll have to just say where you are, that level is what you are. There is nothing like that. He didn't say anything about your levels or your accomplishments or ambitions, but everyone's nature, and everyone is born with their nature, and everyone is given a duty, and within that duty, whatever that you are, do your duty very well. Identify your duty wherever your interests are, based on our own nature of the body, where our interests are. For example, I had an interesting discussion with a person the other day, which is, what is our nature? Can our nature be modified? Can our nature at any point of time be modified? We are just born with it, and then we will have to live that way, or can we be in any different? The question was, we have many greats in the field of music, in the field of politics, in the field of research, right? We have Isaac Newton, or we have great musicians, Tyagaraja, Mirabai. Can I become like Mirabai or Tyagaraja or Isaac Newton or Albert Einstein, right? So can I modify my nature to become that? I will have to understand that my nature of this body and this mind is not in my control. I have been given my intellect. I can use my intellect to the maximum level, but my nature of my body and nature of my mind, to some extent I can enforce the control, but I cannot alter altogether. I cannot alter and become an A.R. Rahman or become a Mirabai. I cannot do that. If that is destined, it will happen, right? But I have, if I am interested in music, let's say, and I want to become a like A.R. Rahman. Now what I need to do is I will have to do that duty. My duty is practicing music. That is all I can do. I will have to sincerely practice that music. And I can actually explore different options of music, like instruments, vocal, many instruments, Western instruments, Eastern instruments, everything, mix them together, do all my research. That is my duty. I can do that duty. But again, the outcome is not within me. Whether I become still a A.R. Rahman or not is not decided by me. That is what he means. Krishna means that do not look at A.R. Rahman and say that I want to become like A.R. Rahman, but do keep doing your duty. I know what will happen in future. Your body will determine, your nature will determine whether you become that person or not. But that is not to say that you should not have ambition, you should not desire anything. You wanted, the ambition there should be not to become A.R. Rahman. The ambition should be, I should be greatest. I should be the best in music, what I do. Maybe we will become even more greater than A.R. Rahman. Why A.R. Rahman? Right? It can be even more greater than that. That is why that duty, whatever that is defined to us, we will have to excel in that. Now, leave alone that becoming a music director, or we are all normal mortals who are fathers and mothers and brothers and sisters and daughters and sons. Our duty, we can do the best. Still, as a mother, I can do my duty best. As a father, I can do my best duty. Whatever that is, that needs to be done without having the likes and dislikes. The frustration with the children will be the utmost. We would have observed it, right? That is because of our likes and dislikes. We do not like few things, and if they keep repeating it, then we get frustrated. But we have never asked ourselves whether the do not like part of it is right or not. I'm having a dislike. Is it right? Is it truly that person is doing something wrong, or whether it is my indriyas are defining the likes and dislikes? So that is how we will have to refine ourselves and do our duty as a parent or as an employee. What is the best I can do as an employee to when I'm working every month? If that day, last day, let's say, you go and look at your bank account, amount is there, you're good. 1 month, let's say, there is a delay, the amount didn't get credited to your bank account. You are like restless. Next day, even more restless. Next day, even more restless. You are not getting any response from the payroll team. Now, fourth day, you will go all around and say that I am going to just not let this happen anymore. 4 days pay is not credited. What is happening? Right? Am I in the payroll or not? We wanted to know the answer to that. But are we doing the duty we are supposed to do? Are we the best employee, showing all the expectations, meeting all the expectations of a true employee working for an organization for which we get our pay every month? That is something that we can ask ourselves and improve ourselves. That is a duty, right? When we say duty, it is not dharma, right? That's what the Shastras say. We all get a little bit, it's a little bit ambiguous, dharma. When I say that do your dharma, then people will have different meanings for dharma. Okay, dharma is I like to give a lot of food to others. donate, that is dharma. Or dharma is okay, I am born as a Brahmin, so I will have to do these rituals daily, and I will have to do, or I am born as a kshatriya, my dharma is this. That is how we all understand. It's a narrow definition of duty, dharma. Duty or dharma is not such a small thing. Every moment is a duty. Everything that we do is a duty. Towards everyone we do is a duty. To my mom, to my dad, to my kids, to my husband, to my wife, to my sister, to my brother. Whatever that my mind says it is right, that is the right thing I have to do. Mind always remind us. If you see that witness, it will always rise up and say that, hey, you'll have to do that, what you're doing is not right. But we will just put that down and say that, no, I know what I'm doing. This, to these people, this is the right way to do. Right? We will ignore it, but we should start listening to our inner witness, conscience, they say, right? Listen, then act based on that. If someone needs help, it's not just about our relatives, my son, my kid, my sister. I help, I do a lot of things. And how can I be better? How can I make this world a better place? Because we are visitors. As far as this earth is concerned, we are all visiting this earth. Are we leaving this place as we found it? That is one more duty that we have. Make sure that we don't do any disruptions, destructions, or make it a bad example for others. And are we preserving it? That is one more duty that we have. Everything is a duty if you look at it. When you go to go interact with others, are we using the right words? Did I hurt anyone today by using the wrong words? Such kind of awareness will improve our living. Such kind of awareness will make us a better individual human being. With that, we come to the end of this session today. I'll see you all next week. Sriyah Kantaya Kalyana Nidhayethinam Sri Venkatadivasaya Srinivasaya Mangalam. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Thank you very much.